I worked with a well-known hospitality chain, and one of the things that they had to do is they had to make some really significant cuts in their budget. They had to actually cut out roughly $1 million in revenue, which meant huge layoffs in their organization. With that, what happened was they went from having somebody who was at an executive level, and they lost 2 tiers and had to take a director and really launch that individual up to being ready for an executive level position. And we spent a year, and we worked week by week. Again, brief 30-minute calls, check-ins, setting the goals in the initial. I've checked in a year later after our relationship has ended. This individual is still on target, still doing fantastic. CEO is thrilled, COO is thrilled. It's a good feeling to see that.
A fairly senior person in a company who was very effective for 20 years in that company. And her boss was giving her feedback that there was something missing right now. She really had in mind that her boss was going to fire her. With that deep conviction, it was hard for her to make any kind of shift because she really thought it was hopeless, And so I worked with her in terms of, so how can you know if that's true? What is it that makes that true for you? And she was able to have some courageous conversations with the boss and realize, no, I've been good for 20 years. I'm still good. I got off the track a little bit. And she ended up the CEO eventually left, and she ended up getting promoted into that position. And so she's now CEO of that company. So I don't think it's only a result of my coaching, for sure. However, I think helping her to see possibilities other than where she was stuck really enabled her to become her best self.
This woman, she has made such radical transformation in her leadership abilities in the time that I've worked with her. For instance, she was just recently gave a presentation in front of her board of directors, and she was applauded by an entire board of directors for what she had to say. She had over a $6 million capital budget request that in the past, when she would submit this request, no one would really understand, and she would have a hard time getting it approved. Now she was able to go in, present it, communicate the message so that any person that's not a non-technical person could understand it. The entire budget was approved. And her husband told me that, he said, Caroline, I just want to thank you for everything that you've done for my wife and for me personally, because she's just been able to make such changes in her life, and it's really impacted our family too. So I think that to me is an incredible story, and it just signifies what changes can be made through executive coaching.